Joining us right now for his weekly segment, not only the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks, but from what I understand, the future special teams coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Torey Lovullo, our guest here on the Burns. Special teams coach, huh? Is that what you think you'd be good at in the NFL?
It would be a dream of mine. I would love to just be able to scream my face off and just cuss and yell at everybody and then basically get away with it. And, just get the boys fired up. You got, 3 or 4 kickoffs, punts, 3 or 4 punts a game just to get them so revved up for that moment. I feel like I could put everybody in the right headspace to go out and knock some blocks off.
All right, there you go. There you go. If anything ever happens and you're not the manager of the Diamondbacks, just give JG a call. Maybe he'll find a spot for you.
There you go. JG has no idea that I've had motives to this new friendship that's been blossoming. Just in case, I want to make sure that I can fall into his hands. So I've been buttering him up for these past 2.5 years.
All right, well, butter us up a little bit because we're going to ask you a very difficult question here. Ketel Marte, the story came out from Nick Pecoro. Dan Bickley had talked about this before. I had chimed in and said that Bickley's not wrong. There's a lot more to the story. There's a lot of questions right now about Ketel's commitment to the team and the teammates and how they feel about him. So I'm going to ask you, and just honestly, do you treat Ketel Marte differently as a star player? Is he treated differently than other players on this team?
Well, first of all, I want to say, look, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I respect you guys. I respect Nick. And, a lot of scrutiny comes with this territory, and then we deal with it. In particular, to answer your question, it's almost like parenting. And for all the parents out there that are listening and the parents that I'm talking to right now, people who say that they treat their kids all the same, they're lying. You try to get the best version of each child, and that requires different strategies. I will say that Ketel Marte has a massive heart. He is extremely emotional. He loves to play. He wants to be in the middle of everything with his teammates every single day. The body doesn't always function the right way, and sometimes we got to listen to what he says and do what's best for him, which in turn will give us the best results for his production.
Were you aware that he was going to miss the Friday game in St. Louis after the All-Star game? Apparently, he did not get on the plane with Suarez and Corbin Carroll and their families, and he went to the Dominican Republic and did not find out about the burglary until he was in the Dominican Republic. Were you aware that he was going to miss some of those very important games immediately after the All-Star break?
I was unaware of the break-in. I was unaware of the timing of the break-in. I was unaware of what the intentions were, what plane he was on. I just became aware of him not being ready to play a baseball game on the morning, afternoon of our first baseball game. At that point, look, we were dealing with a highly emotional situation. Details were trickling in piece by piece and minute by minute. And I was unsure of how to answer a lot of the questions that were being thrown at me by you guys, by the team. It was one of those situations where there was a lot of unknown, and I was trying to be as honest as possible with the information that was happening. So to be honest with you, no, I was not aware. And once the details came in, we decided that we were gonna deal with it internally, and that's what we did. 162 games is a long season, and anyone outside of the walls of our clubhouse has no idea what it's like to balance what we do day to day. And at the end of the day, all I do is care about these players on every level and going out and win baseball games. That's all I want to do, and that's all the players want to do. At the end of the day, that's our major directive. And that's our goal every single afternoon.
Torey Lovullo is our guest here on the Burns Gambo show. I just want to chime in and ask you one question. It's kind of a two-parter, but it's all wrapped into one, really. Do you, with the way you guys are playing now and with what you guys have done these last week and a half or so since the trade deadline, is this something you need to address with the entire clubhouse? Is this something where you speak to the group now about this because this story has been so forward-facing over the last 24 hours or so?
Probably not. I'll continue to take the temperature of what's going on, and I don't want to get in the way of this team going out and performing the way that it is, and we deal with a lot over the course of the season, and this is, like I said, this this is just one of 162, and I could tell you stories of something that happens every single day. You know, whether it's me managing down, managing up, managing coaches and trainers. There's 2 or 3 things a day that could be classified as a story, but we deal with it. So I think that's the space I want to live in right now, because we're on a little bit of a heater, and these guys are hungry. I think there's a certain tenacity that they're showing right now, and they're engaged. And I want that to continue. If I feel like I need to, I will. But at this point, I don't feel like I need to make any more comments about it.
Gotcha. All right, let's turn to baseball. Let's talk about this team and the way this team is playing. And I want to ask you about a switch you made. Going with Perdomo at the leadoff spot. How much do you think that has helped ignite the offense?
Well, I don't know. The players play the game. I have conversations with the players before I do something like that. I just, like I say, I don't want to all of a sudden move their desk from inside of the office to somewhere in the hallway. I want to make sure they know when they walk into the department the next day that they know what's going on. So something I've been thinking about for a little while. Look, Jerry is an on-base machine. He sees pitches. It's 5 to 7 pitches per at-bat. You can see what he did last night leading off the game. He gets on, and we get another batter on. It's a 3-run home run in ball game. So I just wanted to make sure that I put the guys in the right position. When they slug, there's going to be a chance to score a crooked number, put up a crooked number. I want to put Jerry in front of 2 guys that should be allowed to free swing and go up there and have a go mentality on an 0-0 pitch that they can knock out of the stadium. So it just made a lot of sense. And, the right-handed version of Ketel protects the left-on-left version of Corbin Carroll. So there's a lot that went into it. I thought about it for a while. And, the 2018-19 version of me as a manager would have said, no way, I'm not changing. But I've evolved over the course of time. I have to be flexible. I have to see things a little bit different, and this made a lot of sense.
14 different Diamondbacks have notched the save this year.
We need one more.
One more for the Major League record. I don't know if that's something you strive for or not, but we know in all of our conversations with you, Tory, that you like structure when it comes to the back end of your bullpen. Are you even a little amazed at how structureless it is right now, or does it have more structure than is apparent to the naked eye?
Yeah, look, let's go for the record, and let's have a massive party. What do you guys think? Let's break it by 3 or 4, and let's tip the glasses, and let's get
set
drunk,
that record,
all right?
Skip.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Let's get drunk and set that record.
I don't feel like there's anything that I have that I don't create a motive. I don't create a storyline. I just try to win baseball games and make the best decision. I said it yesterday, and it made sense when it popped out of my mouth. I try to always push the right buttons, but there are no buttons. I don't know what the buttons are. They're so fluid, and there's so many that I just look at it, trust my gut, look at the lineup, look at who's performing, and say, go get them, boys. Let's see what we could do to make this happen. I got ejected from the game the other day, and the last thing that I said to Banny and Cap before I left is, Murillo is in this game, rain or shine. Whether we tie or we're ahead, Murillo's going in, and we're going to see what he's able to do. And I think the guys like that. I think the players like that. They're all equipped. They're all ready. They're all anxious to see when that phone rings, like, who is it going to be? And let's see what we can get done to help this team win a baseball game. And for the reasons that we can win a baseball game, I think the back end of our bullpen has been very, very good.
The fear in Colorado is just having to run through your bullpen like crazy. So Rodriguez giving you his best start of the year last night and going 7 really helps. Now, I would imagine you probably have in mind who you're going to start on Sunday. Now with DeSclafani out, you didn't use Woodford, Curtis, Kelly. Is it going to be one of those players that will start Sunday's game?
Yeah, I think we're going to draw from somebody here, unless we got to use them before Sunday. So we're gonna just kind of walk through today's game here in Colorado, and you hit it right on the head. You could be winning 9-0, and we don't shut off our engines in the 3rd inning. We're going to keep running, and it's not meant to be disrespectful to the opposition, but we got to keep going here in this ballpark because it's so unpredictable. So if we need that pitching, and we got to go into our depth to win a baseball game, and that's the position we're in, we got to win. We got to go right now. We're gonna do that. We're gonna sell out to today, and then deal with tomorrow. And what that might mean is there's going to be some changes with some length guys in the bullpen, some names in the bullpen, and it might mean we would change some of the ideas that we're having about Sunday starters. So yes, you nailed it. The names that you just mentioned are definitely a possibility, but that could change as quick as anything.
Tory, we appreciate the time as always. Thank you for answering the questions. Best of luck this weekend against the Colorado Rockies, and we look forward to your future as a coach in the National Football League.
All right, boys. Talk to you soon. Thanks,
You got
bye.
it. Torey Lovullo, who had said the other day when he was attending Cardinals practice that he could see himself being a special teams coach.
Wait,
in the
but
NFL
Gannon
one
didn't
of
even
these days.
talk to him. They didn't even talk.
He was giving Gannon
Yeah.
his space. Gannon's working, you know.
Like,
Gannon's
hey,
doing
I got
his
some
thing.
ideas for you.
Thanks for watching Burns Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.